When it does not yield, they conclude that the universe is withholding or this doesn't work, that the field is indifferent, that they are simply not powerful enough to get what they want. They stop believing. But the field is not a fortress to be stormed. Reality is not an opponent to be overpowered. The quantum field of all possibility is at its deepest nature responsive. It is receptive, waiting to be moved, to be charmed, to drawn into a dance of co-creation. Welcome to the Reality Revolution. I'm your host, Brian Scott. Today, I wanted to do a teaching on the art of seducing reality. This is based on a series of episodes that I've done breaking down Robert Greene's amazing books like The 48 Laws of Power, The 33 Strategies of War, Mastery. Each of these books are incredible breakdowns using historical examples, giving principles, laws, in particular, about specific aspects of humanity. I have done an episode on the 48 Laws of Power as it relates to reality creation. I also recorded one on the strategies of war. One of my favorite books by Robert Greene is The Art of Seduction. It's an amazing book if you want to seduce someone. But I was reading it and I became inspired about utilizing the concepts in the art of seduction and transferring it over to the model of reality creation. I want you to create your reality. I want you to live the life of your dreams. And so in order to do that, we must become masters of creating our reality. And one aspect of this is seducing reality. And there is an art to it, and we can utilize the concepts that Robert Greene does. This is an activation. This will confirm some general principles for you and help you in your process of creating the reality of your dreams. Now, there's a way of engaging with reality that most people never discover. They push, they force, they demand, they strain and struggle and wrestle with the field of infinite possibility as if creation were a contest of brute strength. When it does not yield, they conclude that the universe is withholding or this doesn't work, that the field is indifferent, that they are simply not powerful enough to get what they want. They stop believing. But the field is not a fortress to be stormed. Reality is not an opponent to be overpowered. The quantum field of all possibility is at its deepest nature responsive. It is receptive, waiting to be moved, to be charmed, to drawn into a dance of co-creation that produces realities more magnificent than force could ever generate. Robert Greene wrote The Art of Seduction as a study of the most compelling, magnetic, and influential figures in human history. So on the surface, the book explores interpersonal dynamics, how certain people throughout history have captivated others through charm, mystery, intrigue, and emotional artistry. But at a deeper level, as I was reading this, I realized every principle in that book is a principle of reality creation, because the relationship between your consciousness and the quantum field mirrors the dynamics of seduction in every way that matters. Seduction is not manipulation. Seduction at its highest expression is the art of becoming so compelling, so magnetic, so deeply attractive that what you desire cannot help but move towards you. It is the art of drawing rather than pushing, of enchanting rather than demanding, of creating such an irresistible pull that reality reorganizes itself around your presence. So as you absorb these principles, let them transform your understanding of how creation actually works. Let them soften the edges of your approach. Let them teach you the art of the subtle, the indirect, the magnetic, because reality does not respond to those who demand it to change. Reality responds to those who seduce it into becoming something new. Before we explore the principles of seduction as they apply to creation, you must understand something fundamental. Seduction begins with character. It begins with who you are, not what you do. The techniques are secondary. The strategies are secondary. The primal element, the foundation of all seductive power, is the quality of presence you bring to every interaction with reality. Greene identifies several archetypal characters who possess natural seductive power. Each one of these archetypes represent a quality of consciousness that the field finds irresistible, and every one of these qualities already exists within you waiting to be activated. The Siren represents the power of total sensory engagement. In reality creation, the Siren is the part of you that visualizes with such vivid, overwhelming sensory detail that the field cannot distinguish your imagination from a physical experience. You become the Siren when your inner world is so lush, so rich, so drenched in texture and color and sensation that reality itself is drawn to manifest what you are experiencing internally. The field is seduced by sensory richness. It is drawn to consciousness that is fully alive, fully engaged, fully experiencing. When your inner world is flat and dull and abstract, the field has nothing to respond to. When your inner world is a symphony of sight and sound and feeling, the field rushes to match it. The Rake represents the power of unrestrained desire. In reality creation, the Rake is the part of you that wants without apology, that burns with a passion so intense that timidity and restraint are consumed entirely. Most people temper their desires. They talk themselves down. They tell themselves to be reasonable, to want less, to aim lower. The Rake does none of this. The Rake wants with such ferocity, such totality, such unapologetic intensity that the field is swept up in the energy of the wanting. There is a difference between desperate wanting and passionate wanting. Desperate wanting broadcasts lack. Passionate wanting broadcasts the sheer force of life itself, expressing through you as desire. That force is irresistible to the field. The ideal lover represents the power of fulfilling what is missing. In reality creation, the ideal lover is the part of you that identifies exactly what your current reality is missing. The qualities, the experiences, the frequencies that are absent, and then becomes those things so completely that the gap between desire and fulfillment closes from the inside. You do not wait for reality to deliver what is missing. You become the source of it. You generate the feeling of love from within yourself. You generate the experience of abundance from within yourself. You become the ideal lover of your own life by supplying everything that appears to be lacking. And when you become the source rather than the seeker, the external world has no choice but to reflect that fullness back to you. The dandy represents the power of defying expectations. In reality creation, the dandy is the part of you that refuses to be categorized, predicted, or confined to any single identity. While everyone around you is operating within the narrow boundaries of what their culture and conditioning have deemed appropriate, the dandy creates freely, wildly, in complete disregard of consensus limitations. This defiance is not rebellion for its own sake. It is the recognition that the field is attracted to originality. The field is seduced by consciousness that surprises it, that brings something unexpected into the play of creation. When you create in ways that are uniquely yours, that break the mold of conventional expectation, you capture the attention of the field in a way that conformity never can. Understand what I'm doing here. Treat the field like it's a living thing, because it is. This will help you to understand what you're doing in creating your reality. Now, the natural represents the power of unseen conscious creation. Children create without effort because they have not yet learned to doubt the creative process. The natural is the part of you that remembers this, the part that creates with spontaneous joy rather than calculated strategy, the part that imagines without censoring and believes without questioning and expects without hedging. The natural does not try to seduce reality. The natural simply is so authentically present, so genuinely engaged, so innocently open, that reality falls in love with that presence and gives it everything. When you can drop the sophisticated techniques and return to the simple, pure, childlike state of imagining what you want and fully expecting it to appear, you tap into the most powerful creative frequency available. You can delve more into this in my episode, Activating Childlike Wonder. The Coquette represents the power of withdrawal. In reality creation, this is the principle of detachment. It is one of the most counterintuitive and most powerful principles there is. The Coquette draws you in by pulling away. They create desire by withholding. In creation, you embody this archetype when you set your intention with total clarity and then release it completely. You withdraw your anxious attention from the outcome. You stop checking for evidence. You stop monitoring the manifestation. You pull away, and in that withdrawal, you create a vacuum that the field rushes to fill. The desperate creator who clings to their manifestation repels it. The creator who can set it free creates an almost unbearable magnetic pull that accelerates the entire process. The charmer represents the power of making reality feel good about itself. This is the principle of appreciation and gratitude elevated to an art form. The charmer does not focus on what is wrong. The charmer finds what is beautiful, what is working, what is right, and amplifies it through focused attention. When you charm your current reality, when you are genuinely appreciative of what is already present, when you acknowledge the gifts that already surround you, you put the field in a state of openness. An appreciated reality wants to give you more. A criticized, rejected reality contracts and withholds. Charm your life. Charm your circumstances. Find the beauty in what exists right now, and watch that beauty multiply in response to your attention. This is not pretending that everything is perfect. It is the strategic decision to focus your creative attention on what is already working. Because what you focus on expands. The charmer of reality understands that appreciation is not passive. It is one of the most aggressive creative acts available. It is the deliberate amplification of the good, and it creates a cascade effect that draws more good into your experience. The charismatic represents the power of conviction. Greene describes charisma as a quality that emanates from an inner certainty so deep that it draws others into its orbit. In reality creation, charisma is the electromagnetic field generated by absolute faith in your vision. When you believe in your creation with every fiber of your being, when your certainty is so total that it radiates from you like heat from a furnace, that conviction becomes a field effect. People feel it, circumstances respond to it, the quantum field reorganizes around it. Charismatic creators do not need to convince anyone. Their conviction is so complete that it creates its own evidence. Reality conforms to match the frequency of someone who has already decided beyond all doubt that their vision is real. Greene's principles of seduction unfold in a specific sequence. There is an art to the process, a rhythm, a progression that moves from initial interest through deepening fascination to complete surrender. This sequence maps perfectly onto the stages of reality creation. Let each principle teach you something about the rhythm of manifestation itself. The first principle is what Greene says, to choose the right victim, which is really choosing the right reality. In reality creation, the victim's not a person. It's the specific reality you're choosing to seduce into existence. And the choice matters enormously. Not every desire is created equal. Some desires are surface-level wants generated by comparison, by cultural programming, by the ego's endless appetite for more. Other desires emerge from the depths of your authentic self, from your genuine purpose, from the soul's actual agenda for this lifetime. The right target for your creative energy is the desire that lights you up from the inside, the one that persists even when you try to talk yourself out of it, the one that feels less like wanting something and more like remembering something you forgot you already are. Choose that desire. Target that reality. Because when the target is authentically yours, the seduction unfolds with natural ease. When the target is borrowed from someone else's vision, the creation feels forced from the very beginning. Create a false sense of security. Approach indirectly. Direct approaches to manifestation often fail because they trigger resistance. When you march straight at a desire with aggressive visualization and desperate affirmations, the subconscious raises its defenses. It recognizes the direct assault and deploys every limiting belief in its arsenal. The indirect approach is far more effective. Instead of attacking the desire head-on, approach it sideways. Instead of affirming the specific thing you want, cultivate the general state of being that naturally includes it. Instead of demanding the promotion, become the person who naturally receives promotions. Instead of insisting on the relationship, become the person who naturally attracts extraordinary relationships. The indirect approach bypasses the subconscious defenses because it does not trigger them. You're not trying to get anything. You're simply becoming someone. And that becoming is so non-threatening, so subtle, so natural, that the limiting beliefs never even notice what is happening until the new reality has already taken root. Think of the way water finds its way into every crack and crevice. It does not assault the stone. It moves around it, through it, beneath it, and over time it reshapes the entire landscape without ever confronting the obstacle directly. Your creative approach can carry the same quality of effortless, indirect, persistent movement. Send mixed signals. The principle in reality creation is about holding paradox. The master creator can simultaneously be at peace with the present moment and burning with the desire for something new. They can hold gratitude for what exists alongside vision for what is coming. They can be fully satisfied and deeply ambitious at the same time. These mixed signals are not confusion, they are depth. They are the mark of a consciousness sophisticated enough to hold multiple truths simultaneously. And the field responds to depth. Flat, one-dimensional consciousness creates flat, one-dimensional realities. Consciousness that can hold paradox, that can be grateful and hungry, that can be present and visionary, that can be surrendered and intentional. That consciousness creates realities of extraordinary richness and complexity. Embrace the contradictions within your creative process. They're not problems to solve, they are the texture that makes your creation three-dimensional. The next is appear to be an object of desire, create triangles. Nothing increases the value of something more than the knowledge that others desire it too. In reality creation, this principle works through self-concept. When you know yourself to be someone of extraordinary value, when you carry yourself with quiet certainty that you are desired, appreciated, sought after, the field reflects that self-valuation back to you in the form of opportunities, relationships, and circumstances that confirm your worth. You do not need external validation to begin this process. You can create the triangle within your own consciousness by imagining how the version of you who already has what you desire would be perceived by others. Step into that perception, let it inform your posture, your energy, your presence. Become the person that reality itself is competing to please. The next is create a need, stir anxiety and discontent. Before a new creation can take hold, you must fully acknowledge what is missing. Not from a place of victimhood or complaint, but from a place of honest recognition that creates the energetic space for something new. Contrast is the creative engine. When you feel the gap between where you are and where you want to be, that gap is not a punishment. It is the engine of creation, the hunger that fuels the feast. Allow yourself to feel the discontent. Allow yourself to fully acknowledge the desire for something more, because that acknowledgement, that stirring of creative restlessness, is the field preparing itself to receive new input. Complacency creates nothing. The stirring of divine discontent is the first movement of creation itself, and it is to be honored, not suppressed. Next is master the art of insinuation. Insinuation is the art of planting ideas without directly stating them. In reality creation, this is the principle of seeding the subconscious. You do not hammer affirmations into your mind with brute repetition. You gently insinuate new possibilities. You casually wonder how it would feel to live in that house. You lightly imagine the texture of that experience. You playfully try on the identity of the person who has already arrived. These gentle insinuations bypass the critical faculty of the conscious mind. They slip past the gatekeepers of doubt and limitation and plant themselves in the fertile soil of the subconscious, where they germinate quickly, invisibly, until one day they push through the surface as physical reality. The most powerful creative acts are often the ones that feel the most casual, the most light, the most unforced. Next is to enter the spirit. Enter the spirit of your desired reality so completely that you think its thoughts feel its feelings and see the world through its eyes. Not visualization from the outside looking in, this is total immersion. You're not watching yourself in a movie of your new life. You are in the movie, seeing through the eyes of the person who already lives in that reality. Tasting their morning coffee, hearing the sounds of their environment, feeling the weight and texture of their clothing, experiencing the casual confidence of someone for whom this reality is perfectly ordinary. When you enter the spirit of your desired reality at this level, you're performing the ultimate act of creative seduction. You're merging your consciousness with the reality you desire so completely that the field can no longer maintain the separation between you and it. This is the practice that Neville called occupying the state. You do not visit the state like a tourist. You move in. You take up residence. You unpack your bags and arrange the furniture and begin living there as if you have always been there. That level of commitment to the inner experience is the signal the field requires to begin constructing the outer one. Next, we create temptation. Temptation in reality creation is the art of making your vision so desirable, so vivid, so tempting, so emotionally irresistible that your entire consciousness is drawn toward it. You create temptation by adding layers of sensory and emotional detail to your vision until it becomes more attractive than any distraction, more compelling than any doubt, more seductive than any comfort zone. Make your vision so delicious that your consciousness cannot stop thinking about it. Make it so vivid that it visits your dreams. Make it so emotionally charged that the very thought of it changes your physiology. When your vision becomes a temptation that you cannot resist, you've created the conditions for rapid manifestation because your attention, your emotion, and your identity all converge on a single magnetic point. You're both seducing reality and seducing yourself into that reality. The process is mutually intertwined. Next, we keep them in suspense, the undiscovered country. The field is most creative when there is an element of mystery. When you have mapped out every detail of your manifestation with rigid precision, you leave no room for the intelligence of the field to contribute its own genius. And the field is a genius. It can arrange synchronicities and connections and possibilities that your conscious mind would never have conceived. Keep an element of mystery alive in your creation. Know the feeling, the essence, the expanded version of yourself, but leave room for surprise. Leave space for the field to astound you with a delivery method more creative than anything you could have planned. This suspension, this willingness to be surprised, keeps the creative relationship alive and dynamic. It prevents your manifestation from becoming a rigid demand and transforms it into a living, evolving, co-creative dance. Next, we use the power of words. Words carry frequency. The words you speak both internally and externally are spells in the most literal sense. They are vibrational patterns that the field reads and responds to. Greene understood that certain words, certain phrases, certain cadences have the power to bypass rational thought and reach directly into the emotional and subconscious depths. In reality creation, this is the power of incantation, of declaration, of speaking your new reality into existence with such authority and emotional resonance that the words themselves become creative forces. Choose your words with the care of a poet and the precision of a surgeon. Let every sentence you speak about yourself, about your life, about your future be worthy of the reality you're creating. Because the field is listening. It is always listening, and it is building exactly what your words describe. The next is to pay attention to detail. The difference between a manifestation that arrives and one that stalls is often found in the details. Broad, vague intentions produce broad, vague results. Specific, detailed, richly textured intentions produce specific, detailed, richly textured realities. Pay attention to the details of your creation, the specific shade of color, particular quality of light, the exact tone of voice in the congratulations you receive, the precise feeling in your chest when you realize it has happened. These details are not trivial. They are the resolution of your creative signal. The higher the resolution, the more precisely the field can render your intention into physical form. A blurry signal produces a blurry result. A high-definition signal produces a high-definition reality. Take the time to sharpen the details until your inner vision is so clear, so crisp, so specific that the field has an unmistakable template to work from. The next suggestion by Greene is to poeticize your presence. You are the protagonist of your own creation story, and the quality of that story matters. When you move through the world as someone living an extraordinary story, an epic narrative of transformation and expansion and creative mastery, you generate a field effect that transforms ordinary moments into poetry. Poeticize your presence by imbuing every moment with significance. The morning light becomes a symbol of new beginnings. The chance encounter becomes a destined meeting. The obstacle becomes the plot twist that makes the hero's journey meaningful. When you poeticize your experience, you elevate the frequency of ordinary reality. You add meaning, depth, beauty, and narrative structure to the raw materials of life. And that elevated meaning becomes the signal that attracts elevated experiences, The field does not give you what you ask for, it gives you what matches the story you're living. Make your story magnificent. The next suggestion by Greene is disarm through strategic weakness and vulnerability. Vulnerability is not weakness. In reality creation, strategic vulnerability is willingness to be fully open, fully exposed, fully available to the creative process without armor or defense. When you approach the field with your walls up, your doubts carefully managed, with your emotions tightly controlled, you create a barrier between yourself and the very thing you're trying to attract. The field responds to openness. It responds to the raw, unguarded, authentic expression of your desire and your vision. Let yourself be seen. Let yourself want what you want without pretending you do not care. Let yourself need what you need without performing independence. Let yourself feel the fullness of your desire without dimming it to appear more composed. That vulnerability, that willingness to be fully present and fully real, is one of the most seductive qualities a consciousness can possess. The field rushes toward authenticity the way water rushes toward the lowest point. Be low enough to receive it. The next rule for Greene is to confuse desire and reality, the perfect illusion. This is the master principle of reality creation. Confuse desire and reality so thoroughly that your consciousness can no longer tell the difference between what you're imagining and what is happening. Live so fully in the feeling of your desired reality that your nervous system accepts it as present tense experience. Sleep in the feeling of the wish fulfilled, as Neville Goddard taught. Let the desire become so real in your inner world that it ceases to be a desire at all and becomes simply what is. This is the perfect illusion, the moment when imagination and reality merge, and the field responds to your inner conviction as if it were reporting an established fact. Every great manifestation begins at this threshold, at the precise point where wanting transforms into having, where hoping becomes knowing, where the future becomes the present in the theater of consciousness. The neurological evidence supports this completely. When the brain is completely present with a sufficient vivid and emotional charged imagination, it produces the same chemical and electrical responses as it would to a physical experience. Your body does not know the difference. Your nervous system does not know the difference. And the field, which reads your state and not your circumstances, does not know the difference either. The confusion of desire and reality is the mechanism through which all reality creation operates. Next, we isolate the reality. In reality creation, isolation means separating your vision from the noise of consensus reality. Your creation needs protected space in which to develop. When every thought about your vision is immediately subjected to the scrutiny of other people's opinions, doubts, and limitations, the creative signal gets diluted and distorted. Isolate your vision. Give it a sanctuary in your consciousness where it can grow undisturbed. This does not mean secrecy out of fear, it means sacred privacy out of wisdom. A seed needs darkness to germinate. A creation needs the protected warmth of your private consciousness to develop strength before it is exposed to the elements of the external world. Once it has taken root, once it is strong enough to withstand external weather, it can be shared, but in its infancy, guard it. Let it grow in the quiet, protected space of your inner world until it has become undeniable. Next, you must prove yourself. You must prove yourself to yourself. Not to anyone else, not to the world, not to your critics or your family or your doubts, to yourself. And you prove yourself through action, through consistency, through the daily unglamorous practice of maintaining your state, holding your vision, and showing up for your creation, even when no evidence of its arrival is visible. Every day that you maintain your chosen state is proof. Every morning that you wake up and choose the new identity is evidence of your commitment. Every moment that you catch yourself falling into the old pattern and redirect yourself is a demonstration of your creative authority. These small daily acts of proof accumulate into an unshakable foundation of self-trust, and self-trust is the bedrock upon which every great creation is built. You cannot create a reality you do not trust yourself to hold. Prove to yourself that you can hold it by holding it day after day, regardless of external circumstances. This is the romance between you and your vision. And like any romance, it requires consistent demonstrations of devotion. The vision needs to know that you are serious. Your subconscious needs to know that you mean it. and the only language they understand is the language of sustained, consistent, embodied commitment over time. Next, Greene suggests affect a regression. Greene describes how seduction often works by triggering a regression to earlier emotional states, to the feelings of childhood when the world was magical and anything seemed possible. In reality creation, this regression is not a manipulation, it's a return to truth. Because the world is magical, anything is possible. The adult mind, with its sophisticated limitations and its carefully constructed catalog of impossibilities, is the distortion, not the child's wide-eyed wonder. Allow yourself to regress to that state. Allow yourself to remember what it felt like before you learned that some things were impossible. Before you felt you were taught magic was not real. Before your imagination was tamed and domesticated and put in a cage of practicality. That childlike state of wonder and expectation is the native frequency of creation. Every master creator has found their way back to it, not as an escape from adult reality, but as remembering of their creative power that adult conditioning buried. You must be like a child to enter the kingdom of heaven, as Jesus tells us. Next, we must stir up the transgressive and taboo. The most powerful creations often feel transgressive. They violate the rules of what you have been told is possible for someone like you. Wanting too much feels forbidden. Expecting extraordinary things feels presumptuous. Declaring yourself worthy of your grandest vision feels like breaking a rule that someone somewhere long ago told you was absolute. The transgressive energy of breaking that rule is creative fuel. Let yourself feel the thrill of wanting what you were told you could not have. Let yourself feel the delicious rebellion of declaring yourself worthy despite every voice that says otherwise. That transgressive energy, that willingness to break the invisible rules that have been constraining your creation, releases enormous amounts of creative power that were previously locked up in compliance. You do not need permission to create the life you desire. You never did. The permission was always yours to give, and the act of giving it carries the energy of liberation. Next, Greene tells us to use spiritual lures. Connect your creation to something transcendent. When your manifestation is connected to a sense of purpose, to a feeling of destiny, to the experience of participating in something larger than your individual life, the creative power behind it expands exponentially. This is not about using your spirituality as a technique. It's about recognizing the spiritual nature of creation itself. You are not a small self trying to accumulate more possessions. You're a consciousness itself exploring its own infinite potential through the vehicle of your specific life. When you frame your creation in this context as an act of consciousness expanding, as an expression of the infinite exploring its own possibilities, through you, you tap into a power source that personal desire alone cannot access. The spiritual dimension of creation is not a luxury, it is the fuel system. Connect to it, and your creative capacity becomes virtually unlimited. Every spiritual tradition has understood this. The mystics, the sages, the prophets, they all recognized that individual desire aligned with universal principles creates an unstoppable force. Your manifestation is not separate from the evolution of consciousness itself. It is an expression of it. And when you feel that truth in your bones, your creation acquires a momentum and a gravity that personal willpower alone could never generate. Next, Greene tells us to mix pleasure with pain. Every great creation involves discomfort. The discomfort of stretching beyond your current identity. The discomfort of holding a vision that your circumstances do not yet support. The discomfort of being in the gap between where you are and where you're going. Do not try to eliminate this discomfort. It is part of the creative process. It is the growing pain of expansion, the sweet ache of becoming more than you have been. When you can hold this discomfort without collapsing back into your comfort zone, when you can experience the pain of growth alongside the pleasure of vision, you develop a creative resilience that makes you unstoppable. The master creator is not someone who never feels discomfort. The master creator is someone who has learned to find the beauty in the ache, the purpose in the struggle, the growth embedded in every moment of creative attention. There is an exquisite richness in the space between reaching and arriving, a depth of experience that those who only know comfort will never taste. Let the discomfort refine you. Let it burn away everything that cannot survive in the frequency of your new reality. Let it be the sacred fire through which the old version of you passes and the new version emerges tempered and unbreakable. Next, Greene suggests we give them space to fall. This is the final and perhaps most important principle in the entire art of seducing reality. After you've done the work, chosen your vision, cultivated your state, embodied the identity, planted the seeds in your subconscious, and spoken your creation into existence, you must step back. You must give reality space to come to you. The pursuer becomes the pursued. You've done the seducing. You have made yourself irresistible through the clarity of your vision, the authenticity of your state, and the consistency of your identity. Now it is reality's turn to move, and it will, because you have become so magnetic, so aligned, so fully embodied in your chosen frequency that reality has no choice but to reorganize itself around your signal. But it needs space to do so. It needs you to release your grip, to stop monitoring, stop measuring, stop anxiously scanning the horizon for signs of arrival. Let go, trust, and allow reality to fall into your arms at exactly the right moment, in exactly the right way, through exactly the right circumstances that only the infinite intelligence of the field could have orchestrated. This final step is where most creators falter, because the letting go feels like abandoning the creation. It is the opposite. It is the ultimate expression of faith in your creation. The hand that releases the arrow does not abandon it. It completes the act that sends it flying towards its target. You've now absorbed the principles of seduction, creation, drawn from one of the most profound studies of human influence ever written. You can see the principles that I'm discussing and how they tie to reality creation. And the integration is simple, though it is far from easy. You're learning to seduce reality rather than force it. You're learning to attract rather than chase. You are learning to become so magnetically aligned with your desired reality that the field itself cannot resist you. This requires a fundamental shift in how you relate to creation. It moves you from the paradigm of effort to the paradigm of magnetism, from the paradigm of earning to the paradigm of attracting, from the paradigm of hoping to the paradigm of embodying. You do not earn your manifestations through suffering. You do not deserve them through good behavior. You attract them through the irresistible magnetism of a consciousness that is fully merged with its chosen reality. Every principle you have absorbed points to the same truth. The field responds to the quality of your presence. It responds to the richness of your inner experience. It responds to the authenticity of your state. It responds to the depth of your conviction. And above all, to the willingness to surrender your attachment to outcomes while maintaining absolute commitment to your vision. That paradox, commitment without attachment, desire without desperation, vision without rigidity, is the essence of seductive creation. It is the art of being so fully in love with your creation that you can set it free, knowing with absolute certainty that what is truly yours will always find its way back to you. So carry these principles forward into every moment of your creative life. Let them inform the way you visualize, the way you affirm, the way you embody, and the way you release. Let them teach you the patience and artistry of a master creator who knows that the most magnificent realities are not seized by force, but attracted through the irresistible magnetism of an aligned and fully awakened consciousness. Because you are not just creating a new reality. You're becoming irresistible to it. You're becoming so fully the person who lives in that reality that the reality has no choice but to appear. It is drawn to you the way the tide is drawn by the moon, not through effort or force, through the quiet, undeniable gravitational pull of someone who has already become what they are creating. This is the deepest secret of all great creators, all great seducers, all great agents of transformation throughout human history. They did not force the world to change. They became so powerfully, magnetically, irresistibly aligned with their vision that the world could not help but reorganize around them. The same power that moved empires and sparked revolutions and created civilizations is available to you right now. It is not a power you need to acquire. It is a power you need to remember. It has been yours since before you drew your first breath, and it will be yours long after the last. And that becoming is happening right now in this very moment, with every word you have absorbed, with every principle that has landed in your awareness, with every recognition that is sparked in the depths of your consciousness. You are already more magnetic than you were before this activation began, and the field has already noticed. It is already moving towards you. Before we go, I want to invite you to join the Reality Revolution community. You can find the link in the description. It's skool.com, skool.com/reality revolution. There you will find exclusive content you cannot find on YouTube from me. Training modules that take my content to the next level where you can go much deeper and learn to apply these techniques directly. Weekly group coaching sessions where I speak directly to you and answer your questions, and we do live meditations and mastermind sessions. Now is the time for you to take your manifestation journey to the next level. I hope to see you there. You can find all episodes of The Reality Revolution at therealityrevolution.com. And welcome to The Reality Revolution.